Good morning. Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. Let's go. Good morning. Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. So, good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Comment allez-vous? It's like I'm too close or something. I don't know. Anyways, hey. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Wayne. I'm a currency trader. I've been trading a very long time, more than 15 years. In fact, I just did my Trade Non-Farm Payrolls Live number 150. That was on Friday. So that's 12 and a half years just doing that one webinar for FX Street. So anyways, we're here at Forex.Today's YouTube channel. Would you please subscribe? The reason for that is when I hit stream, you are alerted and says, hey, if you're available and you want to come to the webinar, just click this button, it brings you right into the webinar. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Also, I appreciate likes, and if you're watching a recording, please leave a comment. In particular, let me know what currency pairs you want me to cover in the future. So with that being said, if I do earn your loyalty and respect through these webinars, you know, I'm trying to teach you technical and fundamental analysis, but I'm also trying to screw your head on straight and get you to become a world-class independent currency trader. So in the process of doing these webinars every day, if I do earn your loyalty and respect, would you please visit tradersway.com, open a demo account, check out our spreads, our execution speed, and our world-class customer service. And bottom line, we would like to earn your business and be the prime broker to your successful Forex trading business. And if you ain't that successful yet, that's why I'm here. That is the raison d'etre. So I'll light the candles, you pour the wine, let's fall in love. So anyways, I will apologize right now. I haven't had enough sleep. So if I'm cranky, whiny, bitchy, I apologize. You're good people. I care about you, so let's get through today. Scotty Trading says, proper size coffee cup. Well, I have this one, which is full. I have this one that is empty. I have this one that is empty. And I have this one, which I'm still working on from last night's homework. But besides that, yeah. So anyways. So let's go through the scan. We'll do this. Load it up. It's a simple kind of man. All right. So I went through this. Oh boy, this was gold, huh? Remember doing this? I showed you that it wasn't oscillators that were the most important thing. The most important thing was support and resistance. Mohammed blew up his third account. Doesn't know where to start. All right, well, go to tradersway.com, open up a demo account. Start now. Come back when you're done, and we'll fix you. I will fix you. All right, so anyways, looking at this, guys, what we're talking about is being at resistance is most important. Then the oscillator is important, and then it drops down. And then look at, we're at support, right? If we're at support, then this is buyable. Oops. Well, I guess you could look at the 5A cross. Okay. So that's buyable, but you know what? That's not really sellable unless you think it's resistance. That's not sellable unless you think it's resistance. But even think, you have to have it identified. So I guess if you're super micro looking for stuff, then maybe, but I don't consider those awesome opportunities. And as you know, for the last, several weeks, I've been neutral on gold. But anyways, right? All right, let's go. I guess we got to do Aussie. Go over here. Okay, we had this as a sell zone yesterday. This is a buy zone yesterday. This is a sell zone yesterday. We didn't really get anything. So what do you do in this situation? You say, you know what, it's mediocre. I'm not really sure I want to buy it. And you're done. It's sort of in here. Okay, it's sort of playing the monthly pivots. I'd say it's playing the monthly pivots more than it's playing the weekly pivots. Right? In that case, you could get rid of that thought process and maintain this thought process. If you're bear, you want it to come up to here and then down. But it's not really playing that well. Best thing you could have done is front run it early in the month, you see, on the first or second day. If you simply had sold it at M3, you're golden. Sometimes that's all it is, right? Well, Brooke says, isn't that a hammock? Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, if I have this drawn plan A, plan B, I want it to go up so it would fall. So I'm not necessarily suggesting you could buy it to sell it. What I'm suggesting is, even though it's doing a hammock, and let me identify that for regular folk. Higher high predicts a higher low, right? It's not happening at a fantastic place, price-wise. I guess we'd have to. I just noticed it was 80. All right, so it's playing out the psych level. That makes it a little bit mediocre, but nonetheless, if you're planning to do this, Brooke, trade it up to here, you could do that. I still think the macro supersedes the micro. Okay. But you're right. You have it on a 30. It's even clearer on a 30. Sure. Yeah. Okay. But I try not to lose sight of, it seems like it may want to come down further. If we're playing it off this monthly, or, I mean, it's kind of down here, right? So let's mark it this way. It's up or up and up. Okay. So, yeah, I think if I were you and I could ride it up to that central, that's when I would take profit, because what I said, I guess it would have been Monday. We know bears live at the central, and we know they live up here. Okay, we know that. It's factual. Looking at the weekly, we're sort of overlining a weekly trade plan with a monthly resistance. So I would say the best you could hope for on a double bottom 1, 2, 3 on this hammock kind of scenario is up into here. But that's when you run into very, very serious technical risk. Okay. It's a great trade. Okay. Particular, like those types of trades, I prefer if you were waiting for that yesterday, you were waiting for that to set up. Okay, because I think that's the keys to the kingdom. That was your plan, and then it formed, and then you took it, and then you made money. Okay. Double top, drop, retrace, drop, retrace, drop, breakout. So what do we do now? There's two things that could happen here, right? I suppose there's more than two things that could happen here. See, the first thing I thought was interesting was our high is higher than that low, okay? But it's not higher than this high. Okay, so we got to be careful here. You got to make sure you're trading your bias and you're getting good prices. Get rid of that. Okay. Where are the monthly pivots? Well, it just turns out this is the monthly pivot. So you should have shorted there. We didn't quite hit our target, so what did we hit? We hit S, so the upside potential for this move is R. Okay? To say that differently, okay, that's the projected range for this month. 130.70 is a top, 128.70, 200 pip range. Today's building permits are crucial for an October rate? Where'd you get that? Yeah, you know, I would disagree with that a lot. For example, the real estate market does precede real economic activity. To say that differently, if real estate builders are deciding not to build new inventory, then obviously that's not a good sign, but the real economy doesn't get hit till quite a bit later, if that's what you're saying, and we're trading the real economy, not the real estate economy. Okay. So anyways, down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 down. Whoa, 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 100%. That's a red flag. You're not supposed to make 100% moves, right? Down, 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 up, 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 up. This is the key bottom. It's an S bottom that predicts an R top. So, you know, you kind of would see it like this, and then maybe like this, and then I think, generally speaking, more like that. Okay? So I think I'm going to play it more like an RS1 monthly range with some shorter term support and resistance in the middle. So for example, if it dropped a little bit lower to 129, you would buy it at the weekly central, and that would put you up into this area, the pivot profit zone, which is also just happens to be the R target set from this S target. Okay. Do something not boring, please. You should say something, do something exciting, please. Say it in a positive way. WTI, this is obviously going to affect CAD as well. Okay. What are we hung up on now? Let's back out. Okay. Do you guys remember this? We talked a lot about that. There's the counter trend. Early in the month, we hit the monthly target, starting to counter trend. Okay. Be careful, Jimbo. So, get that out of the way. We had this going up and up and up and up, and we had conversations of hurricanes and inventory and supply and everything. All those things are very interesting, but don't you think the most interesting thing here is, besides the hurricanes and surprises and inventories and what's happening in Russia or Venezuela or Saudi Arabia or the United States or Canada or China or all these different things, what actually I think is most interesting is it went up, it hit our monthly target and stopped. Oh, Olivia hurt my feelings. Thank you, Scotty. All right, so anyways, that's, I think, the message. Even though it's not a message from today, I think it's quite clear how important that pivot is, and that's what I want you to walk away with, right? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. Goodbye, Olivia. Goodbye. So that's that. Now, do you think it's going to sell off completely, or do you want to buy it back? Well, to remind you, at the beginning of the month, we had a buyback program back in here. Okay, you know what I mean? Now it fell from 70, almost 77, and fell down to about 73. So one standard contract would have given you $4,000 in profit. Well, Batman says, now we know where the thumbs down come from. Well, if you put a thumbs up, then her thumbs down wouldn't matter, right? Just focus on what we do. So it didn't quite get to where we would like to start buying it up. So going to the beginning of the week now, right? On Friday, this is Friday at non-farm payrolls, I suggested, wouldn't it be cool if it rose up to 75.5 and then we dumped it? Okay, so refining this now to this week, I would say if you are a bear and you want to bring oil down a little bit further, you'd be considering it now, okay, or a little higher. So the way to make it look is like I would draw it sort of like it did do this, okay. How am I going to draw this now? Hang on, it's getting confusing, I know. And then I got to move that somehow. Okay, plan A, and then I suppose this is the plan B. Okay. Now, what if you were an aggressive bull? Bull now, not bear. That's what we talked about last week, by the way. So this is just setting up. On a weekly basis, this is the buy zone for bulls. Actually, the whole buy zone is that's the actual buy zone for bulls. And they're thinking down, 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 up, up. Okay? And their target, what, is way up here? They have to get through and make a higher high to get to their target. So, do you think we're ready to go to monthly R2? Are we ready to go to 77.5? And it's a rhetorical question, really, because, you know, that's the question you need to be answering. Would you sit down with an investor and say, well, we're buying from 74 and we're taking this up to 78.50? Kev says, I think it's a possibility. Well, you need to be more precise than that. Of course it's a possibility. It's a possibility it could go to 100. Not likely. And even if it's possible, your job as a trader now is to get the timing of it. Yeah, it's possible by the time of the end of the year, yeah, we probably will go to 78.50. What are you going to do? Did you buy it yesterday or on Monday? See, to me, if you're a bull, the two trades were like buy it there on Monday or buy it here, but it hasn't happened yet, right? To buy it at the better price, we need it to fall further. Now, Pizza's monthly move is done. That is very likely, and we talked about that in the middle of last week, right? So I have to reemphasize, I think the most important piece of information here is last week, even though it was the beginning of the month, we put all brakes on the strong upward trend. That's smart. Okay, so now if you're a bull, you buy at support. Weekly M3 is a good buy. Monthly central pivot is a good buy. And bears are going to sell here and here. So you have to decide which one you are. Okay, Pete says to him, bull trade is done. Cool. Right? So if you were going to sell like a head and shoulders type pattern, you would sell this, wouldn't you? It's actually a crown, but that's how you do it, right? So as we approach 75, I would look to sell if I was a bear. Yeah, the global outlook, the IMF report. So thanks for bringing that report up, Chuck, because I'm assuming everybody reads it, right? And they downgraded, so that's going to impact this. But remember, they're mutually exclusive, I suppose you would say, where the IMF report, first of all, they look at backward data, right, just in general because they're economists. However, there's something interesting about the IMF. They have their own math. They use their own fuzzy logic to try to interpret future data, and then they combine it all together. So if you're a quant and you want to work at the IMF, you actually have to kind of learn their mathematical processes, which is really interesting, isn't it? Stephen, Wayne, when you register for the swing trading course, can you always visit the videos? It's either 6 months or a year. I can't remember. It's not forever. Okay. So anyway, so they are trying to predict the future, but they're not saying what our oil inventory is going to be for the next, 90 days. That's not what they're doing. Okay. Now you could take the two and say, see, but as we've seen in history, that can be very, very dangerous, right? Because you could say, look, it's the science. And then you're like, wait, that science doesn't prove anything. That has nothing to do with what we're studying. No, but the IMF, right? You're like, whoa. So the IMF stuff, a slowdown in global macroeconomics, yes, that would diminish demand for oil. Yeah. This week, maybe not this week, but, yes, that's how you put it together. But I put that feather in a different cap sort of thing, like long-term macro. A slowing global economy is not good for oil prices. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, you got it, Charles. Just doesn't mean, I wouldn't say like, for example, oil started to drop because people anticipated poor news out of the IMF report. You see what I mean? But you could say the IMF report that just came out shows slowing, a downgrade for global macroeconomics. That would drop oil prices, and look, see, oil prices fell. And that's where I'm like, whoa, 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 yes and no. Okay, anyways. Yeah, go to the IMF, what is it, IMF.org or IMF.int or, anyways, Google it. Go to the IMF website and read the recent report. Okay, let's go into, well, first of all, here's the 4 hour. We have this as a drop, okay, and then I think I did this at non-farm payrolls on Friday. Have it coming up or looking left, okay, want to bring it down, so you drop into a smaller time frame, and you can see we hit the gray zone and indeed fell. Lower low, lower high. What could you do there? Sell, lower low, right? This was supposed to sell off here and it didn't. So now you're in a tricky situation. Some people might say, okay, that move just didn't happen, and right? And you might be looking at something like this. But because of the bottom, the top will not be any higher than 116. Okay, now obviously, if you're buying this, you're going to get super challenged in here. I still think there are bears here. Okay. So I think the best you could do is fib it. Okay. And of course, bulls that sold here on the higher time frame, well, actually, I should probably take this back, sold in here in the higher time frame are probably still short. Right. They don't concern themselves with these trivial moves. They put a stop somewhere, right? And they walked away. They don't even see all this nonsense. They come back in a week and they're like, oh, see, look, I made money. Okay? Simba, what are you saying? What? I don't know what you're mumbling, but it reminds me of that rap song. It says, if you made me president, I'd be living fat. If I was the president, I'd paint the White House black. Is that wrong? I'm trying to build Black Wall Street, you feel me? Alright. Alright, so anyways, that's kind of where we are. If another thing you can look for as a bull is to create an inverse head and shoulders out of this. So that means we'd move sideways basically the rest of the week and then break to the upside. Okay. Label, label, label. I hate that. I should probably take it off the toolbar. Oh, I know. Okay, that's where we are now. Whoop. Where's the top of the range? Okay. But again, we had this 2-3 weeks ago, and I mean, we studied this on euro dollar for a lot, right? So do I need to put it back? I guess it doesn't hurt to put it back. So anyways, we're kind of, I think there's a mini one in here too, right? But the pivots cover all of that. So anyways, so we'll see. Right? Bears are not super thrilled about selling a high, right? bears are needing to wait for it to go a little higher. So, you know, bulls maybe get a little short-term rally and the long-term takes over again. Oh, fibs are easy. Fibs are like the easiest thing. Okay, let's talk about this. Because of a high, let me use a different tool here. Because of a new high, higher than the previous high. Okay, that high is higher than this high. Okay? Okay? So you decide you want to buy. Because higher highs don't belong to a downtrend. What's a downtrend? Lower low, lower high, 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 higher high. What? Shields up, red alert. Right? So it doesn't belong there, right? So you say, well, because of that, you're interested in buying, but you're still up at this higher high. Now, buyers, even when they've decided to buy, everybody likes a deal, don't they? Let's say you walked into a store, you already knew exactly what you wanted, you got the money in your pocket, you know where it is in the store, you know what color you want, and you're walking straight over there, and guess what? It's on sale. Do you still buy it? You wanted to pay full price. You walk away, you're like, oh, it's on sale, forget it. Okay, so you want a deal, and that's all Fibonacci is. Your buy is on sale for 38.2% off, 50% off, 786. No, sorry, 618. 61.8% off. Those are all good things, right? Right, Kev? None of this made you want to buy. You already wanted to buy because of the higher high. So now you're like, well, but I need a discount. Why? Because you buyers buy low, sellers sell high, right? Right? Buyers always buy low, sellers always sell high, and what? Amateurs are in the middle losing money, right? So in this case, you decide you want to buy, so you want to buy a dip. 382, 50%, 618, doesn't really matter. Anywhere in there is good. And that's all Fibonacci is. Now, it also tries to help you predict how high it's going to go. So, but even then, it's not even that important. But like I could tell you, like a 382 predicts a 1618, a 618 predicts a 1382, but who cares? It's going up somewhere around here. We also know that because of pivot points and such, right? But whatever you do, don't make a big deal out of it. Just learn how to trade. Okay? Now, you could do this without Fibonacci completely, right? You don't need Fibonacci. Buy a dip, bro, right? Just buy a dip. Also, it fits right into price action. So if you just knew price action, you could do it without touching a Fibonacci study. So it has nothing to do with the brilliance of Leonardo Fibonacci. I think only, you know, well, I was going to say something rude, so forget it. So you don't, Leonardo Fibonacci isn't that important to this setup. Basic price action. Now, Elliott Wave, a lot of people worship Elliott Wave as much as they worship Fibonacci, which, again, I don't think is necessary. So there's an Elliott Wave aspect to this. There's a Fibonacci aspect to this. There's a price action. You know, so I do things like the reason that gray box was there, you know, if it dropped somewhere down in here, it'd be great to buy. Okay, so I'd want to buy there on the roll reversal or buy here on the pivot. If you want to buy 50%, that's great. If you want to buy some sort of wave, go ahead, by all means. But the thing is, the most important thing is, this high is higher than that high, so you say, oh, I want to buy. Everything else is irrelevant, in my opinion. You can make something up and it wouldn't matter as long as you're buying where you're supposed to, right? Oh yeah. Why do I draw my fib studies upside down? All right, boom. Because I found, right? So most people draw their fibs like this, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. And remember, I'm self-taught. So 20 years ago, I had to figure this out. There were no books on Fibonacci. So you got something like this. It's not quite like this, but something similar like this, right? And so you would draw it, and then I started to notice that depending on how it moved in these lines, it would predict the upper, right? And then I found that people were doing like fib studies one way, and then they would draw another fib study the other way. One predicts the retracement, one predicts the extension. And I said, well, that's a really dumb way of doing it. So maybe I misunderstood what people are doing. Honestly, I don't know what people do. I don't know how other people trade Forex. Can you fully appreciate that? Like, I don't know what other people do. So when I was trying to figure out this, maybe I misunderstood. Totally correct. I've never ever watched someone else use Fibonacci. I have no idea how other people use it. It's remarkable, right? After 20 years, I don't know what anybody else does, nor do I really care. So anyway, so I found that you were supposed to kind of like draw it this way to figure out the retracement. Then you'd have to draw it the other way to figure out the extension. And I looked at it and I studied it. You know, I spent months playing around with this thing. Then I realized, well, you know, if I just sort of make some tweaks to the math, to the algorithm, to the indicator setup, I can get it so that I can get the 382, 50%, 618, and 786 drawn at the proper levels and have the extensions automatically plotted up here, 1382, 1618, 200. I also put the 121.4 because I took 786, subtracted it from 100, got a 121.4, added to 100, and you got the 121.1 or 121.4. No one else does that. I'm self-taught, but it worked very well for me. Okay, so to get this, I have to draw basically the 382s, 50%, 618, and 786 upside down. I'm actually drawing my fib study upside down. Okay, and then in the settings, I trick it. Okay. To get the 618 drawn here, I have to say, all right, label it 618. So I put label it 618, which it says here. However, it's actually studying this way. Well, this is the top and that's the bottom. So to get it to draw a 618, I have to draw a 382. To get a 50%, it draws a 50%. But to get a 382, which is this one, to get a 382, which is this one, I have to tell it to draw a 618, but to call it a 382. And then to get the 786 on the bottom, I have to tell it to draw a 21.4 on the top, but call it 786. So I'm just switching things around, but in the end, it's drawing exactly the same lines. So now I have this up, 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 down, down, and if I buy it here, it automatically plots the extension all in one move. Okay, so I do it the better way, in my opinion, but maybe I don't know how other people trade it. So I looked at it and said, well, the way that it seems to be written is stupid. So I'm going to redo it. Okay, so I just draw it once. There's my retracement. There's my extension, and I'm done. What's a lot of work? Forex guy says, what time frame do I typically trade? Well, I always start on the 4 hour, then drop to the 1 hour. Then I typically trade somewhere between the 5 minute and the 15 minute. Okay. Oh, is that right? Percentage dollar? Oh, that's cool. Okay. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Adjust my settings. Cool. Right on. Okay. Quirky though, huh? Isn't it weird to think like my first Forex account didn't have charts? So I traded for quite a while without charts. But it created a discipline that maybe the new folks don't have. So for example, I would spend more than an hour a day. I would look at trade data overnight. I would look at volatility. To me was the most important. What pairs moved the most? Okay. But it had the volatility for each pair: pound yen, pound Swissy, euro dollar, euro. Okay, so every pair had its own volatility, and over a period of time. But I don't even know what the period of time was. Probably just over the last 24 hours. So, anyways, I kept a spreadsheet. So every morning I'd open up my spreadsheet, and for each pair I put in the overnight volatility statistics. Okay, and then from there. I would create a huge table and discern how much did the pound move versus everything, right? And so sometimes I would have to get congruency. Sometimes I'd have to flip currency pairs around so that all the denominators lined up and all the numerators lined up. So anyway, so I wouldn't have stats for dollar CAD. I would have stats for CAD dollar because I had euro dollar, pound dollar, that kind of stuff. So anyways, to go through all that, I put in all the volatility, and from that I can discern the strongest currency based on volatility statistics over the last 24 hours, what the strongest currency was, because I'd look at pound versus everything overnight, dollar versus everything overnight, euro versus dollar versus everything overnight, Swissy versus everything overnight, yen versus everything overnight, so on and so forth, right? And I would be able to create strong, almost as strong, not quite as strong, then more into the neutrals, and then weak, weaker, 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 weakest. Okay? Then I would take that and I would create pairs out of them. The strongest versus the weakest, the strongest versus the second weakest, strongest versus the third weakest. Second strongest versus the weakest, second strongest versus the second weakest, so on and so forth. And I'd start matching up pairs. But back then, like to trade a pound yen was like 17 pips, right? You guys cry over 3. I mean, it was like 17 pips. So a lot of things were just too much. So I had to do then a spread analysis. And then I filtered that through average daily range to figure out which are most likely to move, what direction are they most likely to move, and how far are they likely to move. And I'd whittle that down to about 2 or 3 pairs. So this took me at least an hour. And then, see, I was smart. Then I would open up my charts. See, that was my trading platform, got me that information, right? So then I'd open up a charting package I had to spend like $250 a month on. Right, you don't even pay for your charts, right? I used to pay $250 a month. So then I'd open my charts, and then I'd start looking at those specific currency pairs and start plotting out trade plans. But you had to do it in advance because you couldn't trade off of your charts. The charts were just for analysis. So then when you're like, oh, I think we're getting down into my buy zone, then you'd have to pull up your trade platform again. Okay, you see what I mean? And then you'd sit there, your mouse on the buy, but you're looking at the chart, and I'm like, I need 2 screens, man. Because one was for analysis and the other one was for trading, right? The nightlife guy says, I plan my fibs with 121. Yeah, well, it's actually 121.4, just to be precise. And yeah, I created all my rules from observation. So, you know, I haven't been taught by somebody, and now I'm regurgitating someone else's ideas to you. I think that's what a lot of gurus, if not most gurus, are doing these days, right? They're taking someone else's nonsense and they're repackaging it and selling it to you as something new. I was never taught, right? So I do some quirky things like that. And that's how I got to the 121.4. But here's the benefit. I looked at the 121.4 extension for years off of my charts, and my charts told me it was correct. I don't know what everybody else does, nor do I care. I've filtered everything through reality. It works, therefore I use it. And all the other stuff that kind of works some of the time, I mean, I used to use 3 RSIs over top of each other and like all this kind of stuff, and it worked some of the time, and then it didn't work some of the time, and I couldn't figure it out, and then I realized, well, it was just uncorrelated, so I got rid of all that. So I spent a decade before I got to a good chart setup, and now I haven't changed anything, ever. Nor have I ever needed to look at someone else trade. Like, what are you doing over there? I don't need that. Okay? But yes, it did take blood, sweat, and tears for years. All righty. So we got news coming up, don't we? What time is it? Again, I apologize. I'm slow today. Well, we got about 6 minutes. Didn't get much sleep. Stupid Harvard. They are available immediately. Did you buy one, Kev, and it's not available immediately? If you have a problem, if you did sign up for something, Kevin, so one thing did happen the other day. There was an upgrade that happened, and so, upgrades are weird, man. Sometimes they do the weirdest things. So they update, but they change things, and then things break. So there was an update. I know I did have to manually approve someone the other day. I don't know if that was you or not. But if you did buy a course at FX Bootcamp and you didn't get immediate access, just let me know. I'll get that going. Have you ever thought about including any automation? I'm not against it, but you know, like most of these trades that I do, I have like days to set up. You know what I mean? Days. So like, why would I need automation? Right? It's like I'm not missing things. You'll notice that most of these decent trades, you know, even like a swing on you know when they're going to happen. They're going to happen on a Friday or a Monday, and typically you have like 8 hours to get into the trade, and then you're going to be in it for 4 days. Like, what am I going to automate? Like, I'm too busy to do my job. That's the only concern, right? Like, I can automate it so what? I can leave the barbecue early on a Sunday, or I can stay later at the barbecue on a Sunday instead of leaving early. But I love saying, you know what? I got to go, boys. Asia's opening. I need to sell some gold, right? So automation, I'm not sure what it would do for me, but yeah. That is weird, Kev. Send me a screenshot if you could. Okay, take a screenshot of that. And then let me know what browser you're using. And I'll take a look. And that brings me to another point, guys. Several people right? Several people here have tested it out. They went to the download link to get the templates and the indicators and the EA, and it failed. They tried 3, 4, 5 times with Chrome, and it failed for them. Then they switched over to Internet Explorer, and it worked perfect. So that might be an issue. Now, why is that the case? I don't know. But it is possible that the browser matters, and it probably is the form when it's asking you questions or something. But I need to have a programmer figure that out. But, oh, the screenshot, Wayne at fxbootcamp.com. Okay. So anyways, do you guys want to try? Try it again for those that failed to get the templates. Try it again. Here's the link. Try it again, but this time use Internet Explorer. Yeah, and it's true. It comes down to how the browsers handle errors. And I think what it is the code in the form or whatever might be challenging, and Google just kind of farts and says, oh, what's going on here? Where I think Internet Explorer is just dumb and just doesn't ask questions, right? It just does it. And sometimes dumb is better. So, but I don't really know. Well, Roger says that using Internet Explorer is way too, well, most people have Windows PCs and that are trading. Most people don't use Apple to trade. And so they have it built in because, you know, scumbag Bill Gates. But anyways, it's already built in. So the only time I ever use it is when Chrome fails. Okay? So I'm not in love with it. I never use Internet Explorer. But there are times. So even on my trading PC behind me, I go to a few websites to do stuff. And one of them is so full of ads that it bombs out Chrome. And every once in a while, I just have to use Internet Explorer because Chrome just, its head explodes. It just can't handle 9,000 ads on one page, right? Okay, so anyways, there you go, guys. If that's too much trouble for you to switch your browser, I mean, you probably already have a second browser. Most people I know have second browsers. Then go ahead and spend the 20 hours it'll take to set up all your charts and templates and profiles yourself. Or take 5 minutes and just download it with Internet Explorer. Either way, it's yours. Yep, that's Gary's. That's IT for you. So anyways, cool. So be a simple kind of man. I thought it was 8:30 already, is it not? Where's my mouse? Can't find it. Yeah, it's 8:30. Oh, there it is. It was slow. All right, PPI 2.9, huh? That's a hardcore core. Building permits in Canada. Was negative last month, was positive this month. Look at the revision though, negative 1.5. Wow. So anyways, okay, 2.9, that's a lot of inflation. So one would think that the Fed has permission to continue raising interest rates. 2.9 is a lot of inflation for the U.S. It's a mature economy. It's never going to grow at 7. 2.9, but that's core PPI. Now, PPI is before CPI. So that's going to start eating into margins and stuff too. So it's an interesting number. The Fed's not going to stop what they're doing, is basically what it is. Yeah, Roger, you would never want to do that. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to try a different browser than Chrome. Right? You probably have some dark web browser anyway, so try that. Yeah, I remember even 30 years ago, my friends used to walk around and he'd pull out his keychain and pop it into a computer. I'm like, what do you got on your keychain? He's like, my operating system. And you're like, wow, that's so much better than my Windows XP. So yeah, so anyways, if the Fed is going to continue its path, there you go. And I guess the real concern is not that they're going to raise interest rates in the future, but are they going to change their glide path, right? Yeah, that was Linux, but I'm telling you, like, a long time ago anyways. Oh, yeah, well, so they're all organized, right? So it's funny, often I see, like, guru traders, and what they do is something like this. And then, like, once they're done looking at that, then they want to look at this. And then they go to that, and then they look at this. Or even worse, they have 10,000 charts open, and it looks like this. Have you ever seen an expert somewhere and he's doing this? All right, now, so we're done with the USD yen. Let's move over to the Aussie. You ever see guys like this? They don't know how to trade. I can tell you because they don't spend time with their trading platform. There's no way you could trade using your MT4 that way. They don't even get it. They don't even understand how to use the platform. Oh, well, now let's move over to pound dollar. Well, first of all, they're not even using multiple time frames, right? You know, but they obviously don't spend 12 hours a day trading. I mean, just they don't know how to use the platform they trade with. You're a professional. It's like, look, I have a yellow Lamborghini, but I don't know how to drive a stick shift, or I don't know how to drive at all. But I got a yellow Lamborghini. You should come hang out with me. Right? You don't know how to... I mean, it's funny. It drives me nuts. When I see people like that, what are you doing? Oh, well, I don't know how to use my trading platform. Well, maybe that's why you're losing money, right? So, MT4 is designed, and now let's even go further back in history, if you don't mind. If you went back in history, before MT4, two things were issues with trading platforms. One, they took a ton of processing power because it would run every chart you had going, whether you were looking at your chart or not. So I used the Dealbook 360, Dealbook 2, all this kind of stuff was the one I used to use a lot from GFT. I used the GFT Dealbook platform so much, I had my own dealing desk with my own employees sitting on the desk only clearing my trades. The NFA had to come in and approve the whole process. We had to have written procedures. So if a trade didn't close, it was required by the NFA that my phone number was written into the rules and regulations for this dealing desk. So the guy at the dealing desk would pick up the phone and call me on my cell phone. GFT was #1 on my speed dial. My wife was #2 because I could just like, oh my God, that trade's not closing. I'd pick up the phone and I got my own dealing desk. Okay, that's what's called a professional, by the way, when your broker has a dealing desk for you. and NFA procedures that had to be audited by the NFA twice a year just for you. Okay? So anyways, back then, it would be running this 6 charts, but all the charts here, all the charts here, all the charts here, all these. So GFT's deal book, and everyone else's too, not just, I'm not picking on them, but that's the one I used. If I had 100 charts, even if I was looking at 4 charts, it would be running the other 96 in the background. You see what I mean? And it was slow and clunky, and there was a certain number of charts you got to where it just couldn't go, and I think it might have been 50 or 60. And then you just didn't have it just bomb out. Okay? So, oh, and the other thing is, most platforms you couldn't program. They just gave you charts, and they gave you like this stuff, right? Like you're like insert, and all this stuff, right? What is all this stuff? Does anyone know how to trade with a Fibonacci arc or a time zone fan or a Gann fans? Does anyone actually do that anymore? Like I think Gann was the guy that was on, meth. Came up with all these Gann grids. I don't think people actually do that anymore. Anyways, like, all this stuff, trend line by angle, and like, who does this stuff? And then you get into all this other stuff, right? Like accumulation, distribution stuff. Isn't that, that's just, that's not Forex stuff. That has to do with futures and all that kind of stuff. But they popped it in here, the alligator. Who uses this crap, right? So anyways, if you didn't even need that and you needed something custom, you couldn't customize it. You had to use that crap, and nobody uses it, right? So GFT had an advantage where I could get someone to program, and I think it was in CTL, and I had someone program pivot points, right, into that. So anyways, so then MT4 comes along, and it was used by people sort of on the fringe, but it was free. So low-end brokers could get them for free because you didn't have to build your own, right? But then it ran super lean. So I'm looking at these 6 charts. It's not updating all these other charts. And each one of these profiles has multiple charts, right? So it's not running any of those. And it was easily customizable, easily. And people started slowly moving over and slowly. And then all the big brokers like GFT started going out of business because of the NFA and the high regulatory costs and all this kind of stuff. So all of a sudden, people had to move over to different brokers that didn't have custom platforms anymore. And so MT4 kind of took over the world. It was at the right place at the right time. It's light, it's free, and it's customizable. No 2 people have the same MT4. It's like a souped-up 50s hot rod, right? So that's how we got here. Now, how do you use it? Okay, profiles. Okay, profiles are groups of charts. So this profile is different from this profile. Okay? You see how this profile, it's all euro dollar and certain time frames, and the charts are set up in certain ways and certain orders and all that kind of stuff. That is a profile. So what I do to navigate is I set up different profiles for different reasons, for different uses. Okay? These are organizations of different charts. So for example, let's say I see something on a chart and I say, oh, I want to consider trading the Aussie. I can go to the Scan Aussie profile, which is a group of Aussie charts. Aussie versus dollar, Aussie versus Swiss franc, Aussie versus Kiwi, Aussie versus pound. And I can look at this and I can say, oh, is Aussie strong or is Aussie weak? There's a particular purpose, right? Then I could say, oh, well, maybe I like pound even better. Or CAD. Well, let's go pound. So now I can go to a different profile and it loads all these groups of charts. Pound versus dollar, pound versus yen, pound versus Kiwi, pound versus Swissy, pound versus Aussie, and I don't know why that's there. Okay, but you see how it organizes your charts and you can navigate quickly? And I'm getting multiple time frames, like when I'm in a typical trading situation like Euro Kiwi, I have the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the 1 hour. This is supposed to be a 4 hour. Okay, now I can look at multiple time frames and make decisions. Okay, that's important versus that other guy that's just moving charts around. Let's look at the Euro Kiwi 15-minute chart. Well, who cares? If you can't see the Euro Kiwi versus multiple time frames, then you have no idea where you actually are in the space-time continuum. Because remember, like the space-time continuum, it's all relative. Okay? So for example, you're on an asteroid moving this way at this speed, and then there's another asteroid coming a different direction at a different speed, and the way that it looks is relative to where you are in the space-time continuum. It's all relative. You remember this whole theory of relativity? So whether you're a bull or a bear on Euro Kiwi is relative to what time frame, so you need to have multiple time frames so you can say, plot this, plot this, plot this, and then you can figure out where you are. For example, a GPS needs 3 satellites to say, well, you're here, and you're here, or you know, it's actually saying that's where you are, where's this satellite, where's the other satellite, where's the other, it triangulates and then figures out where you are. Now here's a side note. Did you know your GPS doesn't tell you where you are on Earth? What does your GPS actually tell you? This will really blow your mind. I'll give you a hint. It's not location. There's satellites in space around Earth doing calculations. They need the theory of relativity by Einstein in their math to figure out this process. Okay, Jim's on the right track here. The satellites are calculating where they are in space-time, where the other satellites, so each satellite is figuring out where they are in space-time, then basically sending a laser down to where you are, calculating how long it takes to get back, then looking at the other satellites, and they're all doing the same, and they're trying to figure out where you are in time. And from that, you can calculate where you are on Earth. But they're calculating things based on time because the satellite is in different time than you are on Earth. It's not that they're 3 miles or 5 miles or 10 miles above you. They're actually in different time. So anyways, you need to know where you are in time for the Euro Kiwi because it might be short-term short but long-term long, and knowing that this is a buy but that looks like a sell is important. Okay? Martin says, so why so many indicators? Oh boy, you get this a lot these days, right? All right. Why so many? So let's get back to this. Why so many? Because I feel when people say that, they're dissing me or something. Wayne, you must be an idiot. You have so many charts, so many indicators. All right. So to Martins, Radovus. This is all I need. Is that too many? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's all I need. So Martins, before you start, thinking that I'm a loser trader, put it this way. This is what's most important to me. Leading indicators of price action, leading indicators of pivot points. Okay. From that, when I add the other stuff, it's just useful information. So if you want to get rid of the other stuff, like the moving averages, by all means, delete them. But I look at this and I don't see it a problem. I don't get lost in the weeds, but maybe to a newer trader, it gets all convoluted. But I guess with practice, I only see what I need to see. So I'm not concerned with the 2155 right now because I've already made the decisions, right? All right. So like the most important thing here is that we're at this pivot, and then the price action here, like we were talking about on a different currency pair, this is a 1, 2, 3 reversal. So if I was a bull, that's the price I want to buy. Then the higher high gives me the permission to buy the next higher low, and I'm gone, right? So do I need the moving averages? No. No, I don't. So I can go back to this one, okay? Okay, Martins, but just don't go crazy about that, okay? Martin says, new traders should focus on price action, and that's what I talked about just like yesterday and the day before and the day before that, Martin. So I don't disagree with you. On top of that, you should add pivot points. So if all you did was price action, and I had price action and pivot points, I'd destroy you, in my opinion. Because I have a technological advantage. It's sort of like, you have muskets and I have a Gatling gun, right? And then you get a Gatling gun, and then I get a cannon. And then you get a cannon, and then I get a tank, right? And then you get a tank, and then I get an airplane, right? That kind of stuff. It's just one extra level of technology that it doesn't change anything, but it's an extra level, right? Okay. So I don't disagree with you. In fact, I do agree with you. But let's make that the end of it, okay, Martins? All right. So anyways, so those are profiles. And then now each individual, see how I changed this setup multiple times? These are templates. They only change one particular chart. So I can change it and say, I want my chart to look like that. It doesn't change the profile per se. I can leave and come back and it'll still be this way. But then I can change the template again. I can say, no, I want it to look like this. Okay? And then I say, no, I changed my mind again. I just keep changing the templates. And I'm like, you know what? I just want the 5/8. No, I changed my mind. I just want, I want 3D. Okay? And I can keep changing the templates, right? That's all I'm changing. And the template is for one particular chart. Let's see if I have one that you haven't seen in a while. No. Guess I should delete that one. So I can also delete these, right? And I thought there was one other one in here that I thought you might find interesting. No, guess not. Maybe it was this one. No. Anyways, so that's the difference between profiles and charts and chart templates. You can also access your profiles here. Okay. But I prefer down here. had a way better one. About 5 years ago, I'm guessing that sounds about right. About 5 years ago, I created something pretty awesome. If you like that rainbow one, I created something way better than this. And I was going to put together like a training program and an indicator and all that kind of stuff to create this for you and all that kind of stuff. And I think I even bought 3dtrader.com. And then I'm like, I felt like I was selling something. And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it, so I didn't do it. I just threw it away. Okay. So let's so that's that. So that to the person that asked the questions about profiles and templates and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now I also gave you guys an indicator. Maybe that's not it. For some reason, it wasn't working for me the other day. I got something tweaked in here somewhere. Yeah, so for some reason that ain't working. Yeah, I got a glitch in the matrix somewhere. So hopefully it works for you. I think I accidentally deleted one of the files, so I can't show the OCO. I did get this to work though. What did I have to do? There we go. You see this? There's the orders. Well, as I showed you in the video, you just drag it into the expert advisor folder. Isn't that neat, guys? The other interesting thing about this, besides the quick, so let's say you can get rid of that one click. So you can trade this way. You can manage your stops and your orders, so it kind of does the OCO for you. The other thing is you can click this and close all your trades at once. So if you're scalping and you all of a sudden you got 5 trades open, 6 trades open, and suddenly you want to cash out all of them, you can just go blip. But look at the trades going in on these different prices. Absolutely you can, Mike, and that's the whole point. So when I'm scalping, sometimes I do 10-10, 10-15, 25-25. When I'm swing trading, I often do 51-50 just to get started, and then I can drag and move them around later once they're on the chart. But I messed something up somewhere on my system, and I might have accidentally deleted part of the OCO when I created the files for you guys. So I'm going to have to reinstall it. So unfortunately, I can't get it to work. I used to use it all the time. I messed it up somehow. Okay, so I'll have to work on that. Yeah, so you drag it on your chart, it pops up, and then you change the settings. Yeah, every time. Unfortunately, I can't get mine to work, so I can't show you, so I apologize. But yeah, that's the whole point. Every time I trade, I change it. Yeah, and the way that you go it is you go onto the other page and you set up defaults. So you could set it up so that you have a default scalp, a default swing, a default, all that kind of stuff, right? Well, sort of. So I finished my homework last night so I can start studying for midterms. I also have my Harvard Business School class, and this is supposed to be the hard week. So they're giving us extra time because the homework is so difficult. So I have to do that stuff, and I have to do. So I'm taking 2 classes: financial accounting through Harvard Business School. And I'm doing real estate development as well, part of my management program. And so the real estate development one, we're doing like feasibility studies and pro forma cash flow statements and all that kind of stuff on different projects. And that midterm's coming up next week. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of homework. Yeah, so yeah, Mike, you can totally do that. You got to go to the, there's 3 tabs. I think it's the last tab. And then you can set defaults. And so you could set up these different little files. So you can save it as the default setup. You could save it as, let's say, swing. And you could save the 5150. Name it and save it. And that brings it up as the default. You can totally do that. But of course, the other way to do is when you drag it on, it says, would you like a 30-30? You're like, no, I'd like a 50-150. I mean, it's a swing trade. You got hours, you got days to set them up, so it's not that hard. And then enter. It takes you 4 seconds longer, but yes, you can set up templates. Okay. Well, I guess that's a whole day. I mean, what time is it? 9 o'clock? Yeah, I went over again, so I apologize. Thank you for being on my team, guys. Please make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, and if you're watching a recording of this, like, or even like, as soon as I hit stop, it's going to upload it as a video. So even if you're watching it now, you can go to the recording and leave a comment like, "Hey Wayne, tomorrow can you do pound kiwi or something?" And I can do that for you, or just say thank you or all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of spam getting on the comments now, huh? Guess we're getting popular. So maybe if you see somebody popping spam on there, maybe report them. Panjak, why don't you just download them? Okay. Okay. So once again, change your browser. I can verify more than 80% of people are getting them just fine. So change your browser, whatever browser or setups you have in your browser. Maybe you have ad blockers. Like, I don't go to websites with too many ads except that one I used back there. So I don't know anything about ad blockers, but something on your side is blocking the email. It ain't us, it ain't me, it's not the system. So change your browser. Firefox might work, but I know IE does work. People have confirmed it. They're like, Wayne, tried 5 times with Chrome, it doesn't work, but then I switched over to IE and it works. So just do that. Okay. Well, then I don't know. Then your country, your neighborhood, your ISP, your benevolent dictator, somebody's blocking it, but the emails are going out. I can guarantee it. Okay. So I'm sorry. I will keep trying. I'm probably going to pay someone to build the whole process again on a completely different technology, just so the other 15% will get their videos, you know. So I will try my best, but you need to stay patient with me. Okay? This isn't a punishment. I'm not sorting you out like, let's give it to all those guys, but not these 4 people over here. Just there's something on your side blocking it. I don't know what it is, so we need to sort that out. Okay? Oh, is that what's going on, Mark? It's a script. Maybe I grabbed the wrong OCO. So I can do it here, you mean? I'll have to move it out of the folder. Maybe I'll do that now. It looks like an EA. So let's copy this out. And then let's go back. Put it in the scripts. Paste. Shoot, opened it up on the wrong email. Hello. So it's over here now. Oh, thanks, bro. Oh, it's the wrong one. Oh, this is the wrong one. No wonder. This isn't the one I wanted to send you. Buy, stop, buy, take profit, buy, or oh my god, this isn't the one. This one sucks. Alright, so I got some homework to do for you guys. That OCO sucks. I would never give that to you on purpose. Alright, so I will figure it out. I have to find out where my other one is. In fact, we could do it again right here. Where's the one I want to send you? Oh, see, I'm over here now. So where would it be? MQ4 experts. Okay, that's not the one I want to give you. Scripts, it's not going to be here. And that's the one I just moved. Don't want that. It's not an indicator. 4 section. I have a way better. Where would it be? Tester, templates, profile. Better one. Way awesome. No wonder it's not working. No wonder. Okay. See, it's over there. It's on that PC. So somehow the wrong OCO. The one I have is a proper EA and it works awesome, super easy. Scalp, that kind of stuff. Fantastic. So I'll drag it from the trading PC over to the coaching PC and we'll get you taken care of, huh? Yeah, well, even then, so I got it working, right? So, and this sucks. This isn't the one. So I apologize. So anyways, got to go, babe. It was real. Do the subs, do the likes, leave the comments. Visit Traders Way. Thank you for everything. I love you, babe, but I got to jump. It was real.